If you're enjoying the broadcast, welcome. My t-shirt. I'm not a nag. I'm a motivational speaker. My sister brought me that t-shirt. Wow, years ago. Funny thing, actually at a Walgreens. I think we were in Chicago. Yeah, I think we were in Chicago and she brought me that. So, hey, what's up, Steve Ferrantino? Happy birthday to Joey. I sent him one, and God bless you as well. I got on a little early today. Well, still got 3 minutes because I want to help people with the explanation. I'm trying something new on this broadcast. So I hope all is well with you, Steve, and the family. Okay. Read up there in the what this one is all about. Because hey, Sharmella, what's happening? Coming from overseas. Wait, where are you now, Sharmella? Are you back in the States? Are you still in where were you? Afghanistan or something? Where are you now? You gotta put a comment in there and let me know. This is a blessing. What is happening? Good to see you. Yeah. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. 2 minutes. 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. All right. And hey, what's up, William? Semper Fi, welcome, one of my regulars. Good to see you. Oh man, again, y'all, read that upper left or wherever it is on your screen. It's going to be an interactive. It's going to be an interactive Facebook Live. So we're going to see if that can actually work because I don't know if it can, but we'll see. And in fact, it can. You might have to watch it a second time to make it really work, but you can get it on the first one as well. Especially if you one of my homies who was at the celebration last week we had for my brother's Hassan for his homegoing service, as they call it, and we called it a memorial because we just really wanted to make sure we celebrate him. That's one thing we do in the King family. We always think it's important to send someone off right. And bring someone in right too. You should be all, celebrate. Always find ways to celebrate people. It's not going to be, but it's going to be necessary. Okay, we got less than a minute to go, and to give you this message. So I am kind of excited. Wait, I'm even drinking a smoothie. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Wait, still in Montana, or did you tell me that you moved? So you let me know. But anyway, good to see you again too. Okay, we got less than a minute. All right. Okay, look, here's the deal with today's message. As many of you know, my youngest brother, Hassan King, died on January the 20th. Now, he died on January 20th. And hey, Melba, homegirl, God bless you. So anyway, Hassan died on January 20th. And we had his memorial, a memorial tribute to him just this past weekend on Friday, February 1st. And what I want to do today is give you the message that I delivered in the church for his service, as a way of because every time someone dies, you get a message, even though this is not the eulogy, but you get a message. And let me put this phone on vibrate just in case it is. Okay, so the eulogy from the pastor, whoever, it's actually the message, because we tend to get our messages at funerals sometimes. So anyway, this makes now my 18th funeral that I've had the opportunity, because I do what I consider an opportunity and a blessing and an honor to speak at someone's funeral. And so this was my 18th time doing that, where I deliver a poem as well as a message, but this was the most extensive one that I've done, obviously, because it was my family. So I will do some commercials to connect you to where we are, but other way I'm going to just straight up, hey Kwame, I'm going to straight up give you what I delivered at the church on February 1st. Here we go. We sometimes allow death to erase the living moments. And we've got a pretty good set of role models. in a book many of us have heard about. They're called disciples. In each of the four Gospels, those are the first four books in the New Testament, Jesus asked them who the people said he was and who they said he was. And though they said they believed he was the Messiah, time and time again, they showed their doubt and disbelief. Even when he fulfilled his prophecy of resurrection, they still needed more convincing. Though he was not of the Christian faith, my brother Hassan, tonight we're here to show death that we remember the living moments as we celebrate the life of Hassan, Habib, Babe, Bolo, Uncle, or any of the other names you may have called him. One thing we know for sure is that he looked like he got called for dinner quite a few times. Speaking of dinner, I've chosen samplings of people in Hassan's life to help keep his memory alive. You may not be one of the people standing up sharing your testimony, but I guarantee you will be one sitting there enjoying hearing what you felt or feel. First, let's take a moment to prepare and settle our spirits with a word from Antioch Baptist Church's pastor, Sean Atkins, and then we will enjoy the music of one of his boyhood friends, Joey Brown. From there, commercial, after the pastor gave her welcome and then Joey played a couple of organ solos, then we had words from his nieces, from Misha and Lolly, Bree, Naya, and then a solo from Carlton Taylor, a member of the church, and he did a wonderful solo. And then we had three more testimonies, one from his niece Bibi, his niece Lori, then our sister Zetine, Zet, and then I gave the closing. And so here was my closing. As I listened to my nieces and sisters, I was listening for the joy and similarities in what they shared. You see, sometimes in life we focus on the differences as a way to make progress, when what we should do is focus on the similarities toward lasting success. We focus on busting someone doing something wrong instead of catching them doing something right. Here's some of the similarities. We heard words from them such as cherish, teacher, peace, nieces, role model, happy, grateful, serious, languages, respect, good time, music, and Leah. Commercial. Those were some of the words that came out of the testimonies that my nieces and my sisters shared about my brother Hassan. So, and more than once, I heard at least one of those words. I didn't catch every single word, but those are some of the words that people were saying about Hassan and his testimony. So I'm gonna give you the words again. These are the words that we're talking, and because that's just as I said, death tries to erase the living moments. Here's some of the moments that people shared with Hassan. These are the words that they used in describing him. Cherish, teacher, peace, nieces, role model, happy, grateful, serious, languages, respect, good time, music, and Leah. P.S. By the way, commercial. Leah is my mother's nickname. Her name is Mary Louise, but we called her Leah. You'll need to know that. Back to the ceremony. In other words, Hassan was Hassan. And I knew I'd be looking for those things that would add up to that. So I'd already chosen to share this poem called Thy Will Be Done. We learned those four words when we learned those four words of the Lord's Prayer like we learn a nursery rhyme when we learn to pray. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. You see, they have a nice jingle, and we never really stop to think about what they mean. However, those four words are essential to the outcome of the Lord's Prayer. This is thy will be done. Say that with me. Thy will be done. That wasn't hard, was it? Now try living it and believing it. You see, I remember being down on my knees muttering those four words and thinking that after the kingdom arrived, all God's plans would be fulfilled. I remember thinking that. Now I know it. And what I know is that the kingdom has arrived, and the mysterious ways many have considered a part of God's handiwork are nothing more than the countless blessings in his crystal clear plans that we are just not aware of. So this new road we take to healing begins with our latest testimony of appreciation for life. A testimony that will last at least until we get out this door and back to cursing drivers who cut us off, rolling our eyes at a teenage outfit, or blaming a small tree for a forest fire. A testimony born from tragedy that questioned Thy's will, W-I-L-L. What is the Lord's lesson? How will I get through this one? When will you lift this burden? Where will I go from here? Why me? And his answer will be, are you done yet? You see, done is D-O-N-E, delivering my omnipotent news every day. Are you done yet? Or do you profess faith only in convenient retrospect? I scheduled this day for you because Job is no longer available. I scheduled this day because I love you. And this new level is not made to have you question me, but to help you understand me. Understand that what I want is for you to love me and live by me every day. How? Anger is controllable and will only blind you from the blessing I woke you up with today. When? This pain is temporary. Yet temporary can last a long time. Where? Loss is necessary and always precedes growth. Why? Understand that even if you don't, I'll always love you. I'm done. D-O-N-E. Delivering my omnipotent news every day. Hassan delivered his news every day. Are you delivering yours? As we focus on the joy and similarities, we each get to deliver our news every day. In fact, as some of you know, one of the things I do is speak with military members and their families going through the deployment cycle. In 2012, I was speaking to an Air Force group in Kansas, and I had given them a title of How to An F in Deployment. Of course, my F's were all positive: focus, faith, friends, fun, and freedom. And I gave each table an F and the assignment that they had to talk about why that F was important to their lives. I gave them 10 minutes to discuss it. But I didn't tell them that each F already had a meaning. And as I walked around, I ended up coming behind an airman who was at the focus table, and she had written down fart, F-A-R-T, on the back of a card. The rest of the table had that, ooh, the teacher caught you, writing fart on their face. The rest of the table had that, ooh, the teacher caught you writing fart on their faces, right? Yet I would also bet that there were a few who were thinking, now what are you going to do, Mr. Positive, since you busted her writing fart instead of catching her working with the table? I smiled and looked at her card and said, fart, F-A-R-T, fully able to retract our thoughts. One of the biggest keys in communication is realizing the fact that you don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. Sometimes you just have to fart. They cracked up laughing, and we went on and had a great session. But that's just the setup for the blessing. You see, after the session was over, the meeting planner caught up with me and told me that that airman had been brought back from Afghanistan after just 5 months because her fiance stateside had taken his life by suicide. And this was the most interactive she had been since being back. So she thanked me for engaging. The blessing gets better. As it turns out, my focus, F-O-C-U-S, stands for finding ourselves creates unlimited success. Focus on you and let other people come into focus. This young lady's last name was Fartell, and F-A-R-T-E-L-L, and her nickname in her unit was Fart, F-A-R-T. So she was totally focused on herself and letting others come into focus. She was paying attention and participating. Had I decided to come down on her, being upset because I was Mr. Positive Speaker and she wasn't paying attention to the way I wanted her to pay attention, I would have erased my own blessing of delivering my message, of understanding that people are all going through something. And we have to back off and let them go through sometimes. Sometimes we just have to fart. How often do we decide that someone isn't paying attention based on how we define paying attention? Or that children aren't paying attention because they're on their cell phones? When I look out for my audiences and I see someone on their cell phone, I figure they're typing, "You should be here. This man is knocking it out of the park." Right? Because I have a penthouse mentality. It's just like I tell people all the time. On my business card on my site, it says Penthouse 207. And I had someone say, "Well, oh, wow, Sporty, you live in a penthouse?" I said, "Yeah, the apartment complex I live in, all the buildings are 2 stories high. And I live on the top floor, on the second floor. The top floor of any building is the penthouse." You have to have a penthouse mentality. Now, I never saw her again that day. Yet, because I had been true to myself and delivered my news, I was able to enjoy and appreciate God's blessing me through being a blessing to someone else. Don't you know that you have that same blessing? You blessed someone with your news and they haven't been able to thank you. Maybe because they never saw you again. Maybe because it didn't hit them until a month, a year, or even 5 years later. Sometimes we just have to fart. Fully able to retract our thoughts. You don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. And so this brings me back to our need to use days and times like this to focus on the joy and similarities. Don't allow death to erase the living moments. One of the toughest lessons in the Bible is that of a parent dying before their child. In the Christian faith, we find comfort in the words of John 14:2, mentioning that the Lord goes ahead to prepare a place for us. In the same month, January, different year, 2007, our mother died on the same day, Sunday, before the same holiday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, as Hassan. For those of you playing numbers, I'm sure there's something in there for you as well. But I believe Leah went ahead to prepare a place for all of us. So I thought I'd bring her back to talk a little bit about it. Commercial. At my mother's memorial celebration, I did a thing called the BLEEP, where we talked about how my mother cursed a lot. And so therefore, I just said there were certain words that she couldn't say in the church. So as I spoke, her spirit spoke through me. When I did this, the congregation, everybody had to say the word bleep. So here's the interactive part. I want you to say bleep, or at least mouth it, and then you'll see how the message went along. So every time I do this, that's where everybody in the congregation did a bleep. Back to the memorial. As some of you will remember, there are parts of colorful language that my mother still may not have had to give up, but can't be said in church. So when I signal, we will all just bleep out those words. Ready? Please welcome the spirit of Leah to the platform. Well, well, well. And ain't this a, not that we're here tonight, but that the BLEEP is back. It's been 12 years since that crazy Sporty introduced it at my celebration. Now he's dusting it off for my youngest. And now he's up here talking about some joy and similarities and how you need to fart. You know well that I always said what was on my mind. And I didn't give a who didn't like it, because my mother didn't raise no fool. And you can, because if you think you've got another thought coming, sweetheart. Well, Hassan, let me give you an idea of what you're getting yourself into up here. Oh, no. Don't y'all dare think my baby ain't bringing his to join me in heaven, especially after living through all the red top is keeping up down there in the house. We stopped calling it the White House some time ago because it ruffled some wings. Anyway, Hassan, don't come up here starting no and up what I've got going. I heard Zach tell that story about wanting a little sister. I always told y'all, wanting a little is what got you here. So you better sit your down and act like you got some sense. Have a good time over there in 75, but don't take your in there and start making a to-go plate to try and feed your family of 5. We want everyone to just get a little something to munch on and keep sharing those happy moments. Hassan was 48 years old, and a lot of you are old as and still enjoying God's gift of waking you up another day. Remember that you've still got each other and you've still got memories to make. Everyone grieves in their own time. So know that this one won't be easier than the last or the next. But also know that one thing you'll really find out when you get to heaven is that God is not good a lot of the time. He really is good all of the time. Try understanding that while you're on earth, so you can have good moments to leave when you leave. Death cannot erase the living moments. So act like you got some sense. Eat all that food because we don't have no food to waste around here. If you don't have a good time tonight, that's too bad about you because you can, sweetheart. Thank you all for joining us in celebrating Hassan Malik's life. Back to being Sporty. That was the message that I delivered at the memorial, and the message that carried us through the evening and the weekend, and not through the weeks and the months and the days ahead. Remember, don't let death erase the living moments. It's not always easy, but you have to celebrate. I will always post on your page when I see you grieving. I will always post praying in faith, not fear, for your recovery at a time where, for your smooth recovery at a time where speed has no power to heal. I love you. Thank you. And as always, looking forward to seeing you next week on Glue Wednesday. Glue Wednesday, Glue. God's love undoes everything. Let him keep it together for you as we find ways to keep it together here on Facebook Live or YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever the wonderful social media network has spread this out. Please spread the message and share. Thank you. God bless you. And cheers. And that's not a bleep. Ciao.